I'd like to welcome everybody for my first cooking video here. I'm gonna make the cilantro dressing, which is pretty much the base for everything. And since I was making the base, like, let's just make guacamole and salsa. Everything with this is you're just gonna use a lot of cilantro. So usually I get about 4 or 5 of these bundles and just start chopping at them. All my ingredients, I usually just chop everything in the beginning, just kind of get out of the way. The tomatillos, these you want to do in the sink. I just did it because I didn't want to move the camera, but you do this in the sink, it goes really quick. And you get those sitting on the stove behind you, just kind of let it sit while you do everything else. But it's pretty clean. You want to make sure you wash them off really well, because they leave like a soapy residue and stuff. So you want to make sure you get those all cleaned off, and use like a good bag full. Sometimes if you have a little left over, you can use them for something else. They keep pretty well. And then there's a tri-tip just kind of sitting there marinating. Just put it on low heat, just let it sit there, and just come back to it later. Just turn them every once in a while, and then just get back to cutting your cilantro, because that's like the main ingredient for everything. And I use this base pretty much for a lot of stuff I do with the marinades, or even for salad dressing. And then to the base, you'll probably add more lemons and sour cream or Mexican cream. And then here I am cutting some peppers, drinking a beer. And some people totally take out the insides of the chili. Some people leave them. I kind of half-ass. I take most of the middle out on these. It doesn't really matter too much. And then I just kind of chop these up as fine as you want. These are Serrano chilies. Usually I just kind of use whatever I have in my backyard or at the lab. Fresno chilies, depending on how hot you want it. You want to be adventurous and just throw some ghost peppers or some habaneros, go for it. I tend to try to keep it kind of, I don't like things too spicy. So, and I try not to use too many different types of peppers. Usually I try to stick to one. And then the bell peppers. Bell peppers are like the meat of the salsa that we're gonna make. They're just big. They're more sweet flavor. They don't have all the heat, but they add to the flavor of everything. So, and these I totally take the inside, takes all the whites out, and chop these up pretty good. I usually use yellow or green. I don't know why. I don't know if the color has any difference, but for me, it just kind of just for the texture and the look of it. Chop, 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 chop. And of course the onion, the best part. If you don't know how to chop an onion, I don't know what to tell you. But you're basically gonna chop it up. For people that don't like onions but like the flavor, use a slap chop. I try not to use a slap chop. It's kind of, to me, it's just cheating. I try to cut everything by hand, but just chop up a bunch of onions, what you're gonna need. More chopping, chopping, chopping. And of course garlic, probably the most important thing that goes into everything I make, is I love garlic. So I try to chop it as fine as possible and use a garlic press. I love using fresh garlic. I don't like anything that's been bottled, canned, or store-bought. Garlic goes a long way. It gives so much flavor to everything. So you'll see it in a lot of the stuff I cook. And that garlic press gets a lot of use. And avocados, just easy to cut, pull a little pit out, and then you're just gonna put them all in the bowl and kind of mash it up. And usually I like to put everything in the refrigerator, just kind of let it chill out a little bit ahead of time. So just some more mashing. And this is probably, here we go, get into the cilantro base, which I use for everything. So basically I use just a small blender. You can use a large one. I try to use a small one because this turns out to work out perfect, because it makes basically a one jar that you see on the left hand side there. It makes one perfect jar. And I'll usually make a jar of the base, a jar of salsa, a jar of guacamole at a time, and bam, just slap all that garlic in there. Little bit of chili peppers, don't put too much. Look at me go there. Actually put a little bit more extra on this one. But here we go, the onions. And then this is where you want to chop them really fine. kind of get them in there. You don't want a lot of chunks in this base. And then what's next? We're gonna throw in there. The lemon. Yeah, for the lemon, definitely use lemon. Probably use one lemon. I use a lot of oranges, more so than lemons. And definitely you don't want all the seeds in there, so use a strainer when doing that. And on the left, you'll see me grab a jar full of spices, and it's kind of just, I make a general assortment or just a jar of assorted spices and herbs and stuff. And I'll post some of what's in there below in the comment section, and it's pretty good. It's a good general seasoning. I have a few different ones that I use, but and it goes a long way. You just do it in big batches. And then olive oil, definitely, and it helps it just really blend a lot easier. And that's pretty much just the base of the salad or the cilantro dressing. Give it a little taste, and it probably needs a little bit of this. So if you want to use it as a salad dressing, you definitely want to add a little more olive oil, and like I said, some sour cream or Mexican cream, and more lemon juice and stuff, and it makes a really good salad dressing or just overall dressing for stuff. And then what I'm making here is just basically, it's a base that'll go into, I put into my salsas, or I put into my guacamole, or just as a rub. Sometimes it's really good hot wing rub. And then once the tomatillos are done, you kind of just throw them in the blender, and watch out, because they're super hot. When you poke them with a knife or you're moving them, if they explode, man, it's gonna burn you. So that's kind of something I've learned working with these things. Some people like to let them cool down first. I like to work with them when they're hot. It just seems like things blend better, and the flavors just really get just seems so much better when you do it when it's hot. And then pretty much you just start throwing everything in. All your ingredients are already cut, so you're just throwing in the flavors that you want in there. And more of that garlic. Gotta have garlic. And then there's that base we made. So it doesn't take too much, because the base has a lot of flavor already, and pretty much has everything that's already in that blender. And then and it's still hot, so keep that in mind. You'll see it steaming there. It's no joke. That sometimes you forget that something's hot, and when you're used to making it when it's cold. And this is just gonna throw the rest of the this must be the salsa, so throw the rest of the chili peppers in there. What else we got? The meat, as I call it, just the part that's gonna bulk it all up. The bell peppers. And the onions. Some people don't use onions. Some people use different types of onions. I just use the white onions. And of course my seasonings I put in everything. You get pretty liberal with it. And then there's the base going into the salsa. And now we just mix it all up. And that's pretty much it. Salsa's pretty easy to do after that. The only hard part is trying to bottle it. Usually I put it in jars, and normally it's done a lot more smoothly, because I use a spoon and I'm facing the jar. I just had to face the camera, face away, so that you guys could see I put it, how I jar it and stuff. So forgive the mess. And then once you have it all jarred up, put it in the refrigerator. It's still hot, so put it in the refrigerator and just let it cool down. It usually takes about half hour to an hour. And then you're still cooking everything else anyway, so it goes pretty quick. Then you go back to your smashed avocados. I usually use one lemon, and then I usually use oranges instead of lemons and limes. And just half a lemon, half an orange. You don't want to use too much. Yeah, make sure you don't want any seeds in there. And then just like everything else, you just start throwing your ingredients in. I don't use tomatoes in my guacamole. I just always find it kind of weird. I do mix my guacamole and my salsa sometimes, but for some reason I don't put tomatoes in my guacamole. And don't use peas. I don't know why people start using peas. That's gotta be so gross. Of course, more cilantro, all the standard stuff. And I think that it all comes down to your spices and your herbs you're using when you're cooking too. So that goes a long way. And I don't usually tend to put any cream or sour cream in my guacamole. You can if you want. And that's why I don't put it in the base. Some people ask me, why don't you just put it in the base? And it's like, you want a different flavor for different things. So, if you like sour cream, add sour cream to yours. I just don't. I do it after the fact. Once everything's done. And this, I use quite a bit of the cilantro base. And the cilantro base, it just really has a different, it adds so much flavor to things. Even though all the ingredients are already in the guacamole, once you add the base, it really changes the flavor. And then when you pack guacamole away, do this, smash it, put the saran wrap all the way down, just pack it in and put it in the refrigerator. It actually keeps a lot better. It keeps it from turning brown and stuff. And then there you go.